Today's talk is on OIC, Organization of Islamic Countries, and Peace in Islamic countries. Islam, the root word comes from Salam. Salam means the source is peace. Allah as-Salam is Allah's attribute, one of the 99 names, Asma'ul Husna, of Allah, meaning Allah, the source of peace. And today, if you look in today's world, a vast majority of Muslim countries or Muslim regions are embroiled in war and conflict. It is really sad, disappointing, and something which is not what we'd say in congruence with the core Islamic beliefs, which means peace. The greeting for Muslims, the standard greeting is Assalamu alaikum, which means may peace be on you. If we say Assalamu alaikum to every person we meet, and then we go ahead and quarrel and fight, engage in conflict with those very same people, especially those people who we also share the same faith. We say we are one ummah, wahid ummah, and we end up quarreling with each other. Yes, we have different branches of the same ummah, which is the ummah is the whole tree and the roots. We have different branches, the Shia branch and its various sub branches, the Sunni branch with its various sub branches in fiqh, and also Usuluddin, and we have also the Ibadites. We have which, but however, we are still one ummah because we all share the Shahada, Ashhadu Allah ilaha illallah. There is only one. We witness that there is only one God, and Muhammad Rasulullah. Ashhadu Allah ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, and Muhammad is his prophet. Then why is there so much conflict within Muslim regions, Muslim societies, Muslim countries? We start looking from in West Africa. We have the Boko Haram, Nigeria, Niger, Mali, Mauritania, Chad, the Sudan. All of them also embroiled in conflict and coups. We can't accept leadership of our brother Muslim, and also the leaders, you should understand, he is like a first among equals and not our overlord. It goes two ways. We go to Morocco, is one of the most stable countries with a king whose lineage goes back to the Prophet Muhammad. King Muhammad the fifth of Morocco is also a descendant of the Prophet. Somehow he is the only Muslim Arab king in Africa who has survived. Then we have Tunisia, we have Algeria. Arab Spring started from Tunisia. Algeria has had significant conflict. Libya is a failed state. Libya has had a king before, King Idris, who was overthrown by Muammar Gaddafi, the Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. The king of Libya was also a descendant of the Prophet. Then we had Egypt. They also overthrew the monarchy. King Farouk was overthrown by the military, and since then there's been military rule, civilian rule for a short time, and they're not willing to become a democratic country in the sense, with excessive influence of the military on its people and its life. Unfortunately, it is also always a time bomb facing when the next coup will take place. If we go to Yemen, initially the North Yemen was ruled by the Zaidi Imamate, and South Yemen was by Sunni Arabs, mostly the Hadramatis. The country was reunited. However, and since then, for some time, they had a strong leader, but after that, what happened is again splintered with the Houthis, who are basically by faith are Shia Muslims following the Zaidi subsect of the Shias, and the Southern Sunni Arabs. If they were able to live for some time in a peaceful situation, why not now? The issue is interference by neighboring countries like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, who got involved in the civil war. Jordan is also one fairly stable country. Yes, it had an attempted coup in the 70s. The father of the current king, King Hussein, was very well loved by the Muslim Ummah all over the world. They tried to overthrow him, however, the coup failed. He's the one who gave sanctuary to a lot of the fleeing Palestinians. And today, Jordan has a majority Palestinian origin population. Those who fled Palestine as the Israelis pushed them away. However, it is a fairly stable monarchy, the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. However, these neighbors, Syria, Lebanon, are all conflict-stricken. Palestine has been fighting since the British mandate ended, basically even before the British mandate ended. They were already fighting with the Jewish population who are coming in as immigrants. That conflict should have been resolved well at that time. And we have to understand that both of them are members of the Abrahamic faiths, and hence the Arabs are also Semites. So there is no question of anti-Semitism by Arabs. Basically, they have to live together, learn to live together, and grow together, preferably in a one-state solution. Maybe call Israel Palestine or Palestine Israel. We have to recognize that this was the land of Palestine. You cannot avoid that and give the right of return to those Palestinians wishing to come back, like people from Jordan or Syria who were fled into exile there. We also have Saudi Arabia, which was united in the way between 1919 and end of the First World War and 1932, when the kingdom was declared. However, that also, although they have relative peace, but underneath it there is a lot of resentment. With the Shia population, they are always afraid that they might rise up in rebellion or revolution. So they always keep on those fears forces them to always keep on saying Iran is going to export the Islamic Revolution to Saudi, and also within the Saudi Sunni community, actually within the royal family also, one of the kings was stabbed by his nephew and the king died. It could happen again within the royal family, which is made up of over 15,000 princes. The whole family is more than 26,000 or so people, including the female lines, all descended from King Abdulaziz ibn Saud. Many of them today have divergent views from the crown prince, and the crown prince also had done a disservice and had humiliated a lot of the royals when he took over, like the way he took over from the former crown prince of his father. The first crown prince of King Salman was not Crown Prince Muhammad bin Salman, but it was Prince Naif. Yeah, Naif, and those who feel Naif was treated unfriendly by being removed also are simmering resentment. Then what he did was to arrest or put them on confined and contain the senior royals and made them sign over part of their wealth to the Saudi Wealth Fund, accusing them of corruption and whatnot, so that he is able to stamp his authority on them. So those royals are also, although they signed and because they still wanted to be released and go on with their lives, however, that resentment within the Saudi royal family is still there and it can erupt at any time. Yemen is in conflict, Iran is in conflict, Iraq is in conflict between three groups. The Kurdish group, some are Shia, some are Sunnis among the Kurds. Then there is in southern Iraq, there's in southern Iraq there's the Shia Arabs, and in central Iraq are the Sunni Arabs. It is a Shia majority country, but not stable because of the three groups which are always fighting between their ethnicity, between their sectarian grounds. Then we go to from Iran. They go to Iran. Iran is fairly stable, but there is a Baluchi minority who and Kurdish minority. Okay, but I believe they are fairly well treated, and there is no real mass movement against the Shia majority, Persian majority. However, when you go to there are theological differences even among the Shias, of course, and people want to those modernizers, and then there are those who want to remain strictly to the faith. Those are there in every society, including Saudi Arabia, the conservative elements and the modern elements. Then we go to Pakistan. Pakistan, Waziristan is a basket case. So many splinter groups which are associated with terror, including Al Qaeda operate freely from there, Mujahideen, the Taliban, and the Lashkars of who are fighting for Kashmir, Lashkar-e-Taiba, and all it has become like a hotbed, hodgepodge of all kinds of terrorist groups in Afghanistan and who operate in Kashmir and India. It's really sad. I believe, the Organization of Islamic Countries should take a more proactive role politically and in terms of peacekeeping, because what's the point of having Islamic in your name, in your organization, and nothing is really happening according to Islamic ideals of peace within? They should try to bring together, even when there's conflict between countries, and whether inside the countries there are different groups, civil groups fighting, they should play a bigger role in peacekeeping, probably even looking towards a free trade area or an economic union is also possible, and they have a general framework for peace and for intervening in disputes before they turn into conflict. So the Organization of Islamic Countries should become more than a talking shop. I believe Qatar, in its constitution, mediation is part and parcel of the constitution. They should take the lead in the Organization of Islamic Countries to have a mediation and arbitration council for disputes within countries and between countries of the members of the Islamic Organization of Islamic Countries. I believe Qatar is a great country with a great pedigree for mediation and peace. I believe it should take the lead in enabling and bringing together all the countries. However, we cannot talk about only these countries. The country with the biggest Islamic population is Indonesia. Indonesia to play a big role. However, it somehow seems to be, or it wants to remain away from conflict situations or something. Yes, it has relatively peace. It has had its own internal problems. I understand. However, it should also take a leading role as a country with the largest Muslim population. Malaysia can also take a big role. I mean, these three countries, Qatar, Indonesia, and Malaysia, could set up OIC dispute resolution center, maybe in Doha or in Kuala Lumpur. They have to step up. Not that they say we don't. It's not our problem. The problem in Iran, the problem in Iraq is a Muslim problem. It's an Islamic problem. In Yemen, in Syria, in Mali, in Chad. It could also maybe evolve over time into something like a confederation similar to the confederation of the Malian Empire of Mansa Musa, how the first Mansa of the Malian Empire, who is the grand uncle of Mansa Musa, Mansa um, he set up the Malian Empire, and every kingdom is separate in kingdom, or every nation, every state is a separate ruled nation, while the empire only looks at things which concern the the whole empire, having maybe common rules or something. Looks at disputes between kingdoms, between states and nations within the OIC. Mansa Sundiata Keita set up the groundwork and the framework which was followed by the future Malian Empire, which Mansa Musa inherited, and he went for Hajj. He was at that time the richest man in the world. We can do it once again. We need to come together, and issue of self-respect. Even the North African and the Northwest African Sahel countries are part of the Organization of Islamic Countries, and we turn it into a great organization for peace. We ask Allah Salam, the Divine Supreme Being, to bless us with peace in the Organization of Islamic Countries. Ameen.